Hey everybody, welcome back to Lex Loves Music. I'm Lex Dahl and I love music and so do my guests. My guest this week, it's all of the Stink Guys. Oh me, oh my. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. That's usually actually my first question. If you can answer honestly, how are you? One by if you guys want to introduce yourself, I haven't had a full band yet. So this is if you want to go down the line, whatever you guys want to do, I'm very unprepared for this.
Thirds of Malva,
Yeah.
that was chaotic.
We had
Um,
the
I'm
yeah,
Jordan.
we had the worst two halves of Mulva, yeah, or two thirds of Mulva. We got the bad two thirds of
Yeah,
Mulva.
Aw.
that was a good one. I'm
Uh,
Jordan. I play guitar and do keyboard and backing vocals in the Stink Eyes.
I'm Patrick and I play drums.
And I'm Emily, and I play bass and sing. And I'm doing okay, Lex.
Good, good. How's the rest of you, Jordan? I think you're the only one who hasn't said how you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Looking forward to a 3-day weekend here. We have a show on Sunday, and I took Monday off, so that's fun. We get a kind of a whole weekend before we play a show, and then a day to kind of recover and keep things chill afterward, which is always a fun dynamic to kind of go out and do a big social performance, and then the next day just kind of spend milling around, you know,
Right.
thrift store, antique mall with a nice coffee in your hand. Can't beat that.
And this comes out on Monday, so if we want to really quickly pretend that it's Monday, how nuts was that show last night? I mean, that was awesome.
It was
That's
great.
Dude,
such
it was our
that's
best
It
night
was
ever.
crazy.
Oh my God.
Patrick Patrick's gonna have to lay low for a little bit, I think. After the incident, I do think there will be some legal repercussions if he's found.
Yeah, I think
So
we should cut that part out actually.
we're gonna be sheltering him for here in Stinkhouse Bunker.
the Stink House.
He's a
Is that
I just believe he did that. That was fucking insane,
Yeah.
dude.
You guys have maybe called it the Stink House before, but just how I'm picturing it, is it Stink House Haus?
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
okay. I don't know
That's
if I
crazy
like have
that
seen that in
both
text or if it gives the vibe that it should be. You know what I mean?
because it's kind of like the local equivalent of like an underground rave in East Berlin, I think.
You guys
Never
It's
heard
like
it
have
before, but
it's like
that's the vibe
it's like the
it
Fox Cities
I get
equivalent of
that.
that.
I get that. You guys have
20%.
genuinely one of the coolest basements I've ever been in my entire life. I mean, it's a sick spot.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, we curated it quite a bit I mean, especially during the pandemic. Everything
yeah,
I think during the pandemic, everybody kind of switched from being like minimalist, your house is a light, airy space that's a gateway to the outside, to this is a tomb, like a pharaoh's tomb where I'm surrounded by my most beloved possessions. So we already had quite a decent like VHS library going, but we definitely like blew it up during the pandemic, and I think we have like 500 and some tapes down there now. It's where we
Shame.
practice, it's where we exercise, and it's yeah, my office and our media space too. So it's a very modal space, but we really
yeah.
try and kind of make the most of it. And
And our cat's bathroom.
it is our cat's bathroom too.
And my bathroom.
And Patrick's
Patrick,
bathroom. So
Patrick's our
Do you
cat.
guys, do you guys, yeah, like you guys share the bathroom? Um, what I like to talk about up front, which you guys take turns how you see fit, just because there's three of you. But I just want to know what got you each individually into music and into playing music. Where did that all start? Where did the idea? What age were you where you were like, oh, this is what I want to do? You know what I mean? Whoever wants to take that first.
Yeah, I mean I can start that. I mean, it's been a while. So I wasn't raised on music. My parents played music, but it was never something that was like shown to me. I discovered it kind of on my own. Um, Fifth to sixth grade was when I started finding music I loved. It wasn't until my Aunt Molly, shout out Molly, she gave me she like burned me a bunch of CDs of music that she grew up in. So she showed me like early AFI, Alkaline Trio, Animal of the State by Blink-182 was the one that really resonated with me. and then like the used Taking Back Sunday. That's kind of when I found like a side of music that I was super kind of like it spoke to me. Um, and it really resonated with me. So then not long after that, I got my drum kit. I started playing Rock Band, and that's how I wanted to play drum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, after that, kind of going into high school, I started wanting to make music. I was in like a few bands that didn't really go anywhere. But it was something I was playing drums like every single day. Shout out to my parents for being cool about it.
Yeah.
Like all I had to do was to say I was going to play drums for a bit, and then they were like, cool. So yeah, it just kind of turned into kind of everything for me since then.
Right. I told my parents that I was buying a drum kit and that I was putting it in our garage. And that was all the say they had when I got my kit.
Yep.
And then I never played it. I love that you and I had a very similar age of getting into and a lot of the same music. I just love when like what would you say fifth, sixth grade, you're like 10 or 11.
Mhm.
I started getting into this about like 9 years old, and I love like the idea of like a 9-year-old listening to emo music, being like, I get it, this is me. Like it's so much earlier than any problems that you have at that age. Like I think like until I was like 13 or 14, I had already listened to like all the emo stuff. Like, yeah, this is it for me. And then I finally like got dumped for the first time. I was like, oh,
Oh
like,
yeah, I was listening to Perfect by Simple Plan. I had a really fine relationship with my father, but I was just acting like it like spoke to me like deep down.
I had the lyrics to Adam's song printed out on my wall, and I was
Okay.
like, I don't. Like, I had Adam's song, and I had some good Charlotte lyrics, and then I think Disappear by Motion City soundtrack on the wall, at
Yeah.
least some stuff off my dinosaur life. And I'm like, I'm 13. And like I just had my wall scrolled with all these like super sad lyrics that I had no idea what they meant. I was just like, this is killer. Like it's awesome. Emily,
Wow.
Jordan, what about you guys? Where did music start?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I kind of grew up in a musical household a bit. Like my dad was always like singing his favorite songs to us in the car. They were all like 1980s, Tears for Fears and Duran Duran and Corey Hart and Madonna and stuff. So I grew up with like a lot of that kind of like from a young age. That and my parents were really like big into like the Windham Hill stuff, like especially George Winston. So even from the time I was a baby, I remember hearing like the George Winston like autumn into winter album and stuff around the house. And then my mom had an old guitar that she had played and bought and played in like the 1970s. So it was like so busted. It was this ancient, I think it was probably like Japanese, like a Lotus guitar. So like the action on it was about this high. So I would like mess around with it, but it was like killer to play. So then finally, I think it was my 13th or 14th birthday. My parents got me a Squire Bullet Strat, which was like the super cheap Indonesian like Stratocaster that Squire made, and I just took it everywhere with me after that. Like we would go, my grandparents had like a cabin they would rent sometimes, and I would take it up to the cabin with me, and I wouldn't go out on the dock or out on the boat or anything. I just wanted to stay in the room playing guitar, and for me, because of my like ADHD, it was like I would learn like 20 seconds of every song, like literally just the intro to every song. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just be able to play the intro to Adam's song
yeah.
or Come As You Are is obviously, I think, a staple. But my taste in music back then too was like I hadn't quite discovered like the emo pop punk stuff yet, which really defined sort of my teenage years and like the kind of music I played before I got into hardcore. And so I was like really listening to like Lifehouse and Creed and like System of a Down and all the kind of hand-me-down bands my older brother was into. Like all that stuff, Bon Jovi. Like my taste in music back then was literally what did I see on a cool anime music video on my friend's PC? And then that would be like the song I was obsessed with for like the next 6 months. So like there was like a Dragon Ball, like Broly movie, Dragon Ball one with You Give Love a Bad Name. And so I was like obsessed with that corny Bon Jovi song for several
I'll,
months.
I'll
But
tell
then
you,
yeah, Sorry?
Bon Jovi's on the cover of this week's People magazine. I have it literally in my apartment over there. My grandma gets it mailed, and it literally came today. And like literally,
What's
Bon Jovi's on the cover.
That was the I remember that was like probably one of the first songs I remember like loving and getting obsessed with. And now I've kind of come full circle to like New Jersey supremacy because now I'm like Bruce Springsteen is like the starting and ending point for me in terms of like he is everything I want to be as a musician and a man, in fashion, music, politics. I think he could be pushed a little bit further left, but
Yeah.
if I ever get a chance to have a conversation with Bruce, I'll try and steer him in that direction. But I mean, it's just like that was kind of like the early years, and then started playing with a friend that I had made who was a drummer and he was a guitarist. He was like a protege. He could kind of do everything. Or prodigy. What's the word? Prodigy.
Prodigy.
Yeah.
He was maybe someone's protege.
I think he was probably his older brother's protege. But no, he kind of expanded my horizons a bit. He was really into like Hoobastank and like
Oh,
Lucerne Blue.
good.
It is crazy the kind of bearing and distance I had set for me as a tween with my musical journey beginning. But then into high school, obviously I made friends with kind of bunch of emo kids and alt kids. And from then on, it was like no real respect at that time for like the early stuff. It was all like Taking Back Sunday, Census Fail, Matchbook Romance. Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue is still to this day one of my like top feel good albums of all time. That violin, I think, elevates the pop punk sort of beyond the newfound glory, full blast kind of fray. And yeah, then in high school, I got more into like hardcore and metalcore and stuff, and played with a hardcore band, tried to start a deathcore band with one of my friends. I don't have a lot of executive function, so a lot of these bands were like, oh hey, we would like mess around with something for 6 months, and then we all realized none of us could actually like put together the steps or discipline needed to make anything happen with it. But then yeah, I had a semi-functional emo band in my early high school in Neenah here, where we played a bunch of we played at Church Lock-In was our first show in Menasha, and then we played at well, it was formerly the Blue Moon, then Rock Island Cafe, so I played there quite a few times.
Which one was the one you got kicked out of? Or they were like,
That
oh,
was
we're gonna
when I
go
moved back, I started a Star Wars themed grindcore band called Star Destroyer, and we got kicked out of the Hub in Neenah, which was like a church run venue that was right downtown. Now it's like a sewing place, I think. But yeah, we got kicked out of there because we were horsing around on stage. We had like a 7 minute set that we would just play 2 or 3 times in a row.
Well, I
So,
know you just re-listened to the Mike and OJ episode, so I hope I didn't offend you with my yellow card comments. I think I ranted about them
no,
a
I
bit.
mean, like again, all that stuff. It's. I don't ever say any of that stuff is universally good. I have no, real
Yeah.
nostalgic connections to it
Yeah.
and feelings about it that are personal, but I don't like. It's so hard for me to look back and be like, yeah, this was a great era of music. It probably wasn't. Everyone was like reacting to George Bush and the war in Iraq, and or they were going along with it, or just being paid by the industry to take everyone's attention off of that. So like there was
Yeah.
just this wild degree of like people who were very politically outspoken, like Propagandhi had their kind of golden age, I think, in the early 2000s, and then at the same time, you had bands who were basically like, "Hey, we don't have anything to say about that, but let me tell you about how sad I am because a girl broke my heart." And so it's just this wild contrast in the alt scene of that kind of stuff. So
Right.
Yeah.
What you
So
got,
that
Emily? What's
it's funny. I feel like I'm honestly kind of a late bloomer when it comes to actualizing music. Like I've always like done things that are very adjacent to music scene stuff, like making artwork for bands or like photography and stuff. Like I did play piano a long, long time ago. I had parents that were like pretty like, supportive of that kind of thing, but it was kind of like a I don't know. I was in like fourth grade and I played piano and I didn't really want to play piano. It was more of like I didn't know what kind of instrument I wanted to play. So my brother got to play guitar, which I was like, that's cool. You can take that with you somewhere. And instead I was like,
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a good foundation, but it wasn't like something my heart was super in. Plus, I had kind of a traumatic like experience with a teacher who had fingernails that would dig into your fingers if you
Mm.
played something wrong. So
Ooh.
it's like, yeah, it was as just like a fourth grader. I was like, why is this painful? But after that, I kind of like I always wanted to like get into it and kind of just I think I kind of held myself back because I wanted to be good right away. And then it's like people like this are like, from wee little lads to like now they've been playing forever. It's
Yeah.
intimidating to like pick up an instrument. I didn't start playing bass till like my late 20s. I think I was like 26 or 27 when I started playing. I'm like 34 now. So that's not really that much time compared to people that have been playing since they were like in elementary school or whatever. But I also feel like it took me a long time to figure out what I kind of wanted to do. I played banjo for a hot second, and by played I mean like picked it up, tried it, and was like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
I had like harmonicas. I went through like a whole like folk thing in like
Yeah.
college. Tried piano. I thought guitar would be really hard, but off like after I don't know, obviously after like playing bass and like that connecting, I'm now playing guitar and it's coming
Right.
along easier, but I think I really needed something more simple. But I had like a really musical family. Like my mom actually used to sing in a band in like the 70s with her siblings, which is weird to. She didn't like it was like bar band stuff, but it's just like I've always had an interest in it and I feel like I've been encouraged to kind of pursue it, but I also feel like I'm very like I have like really bad attention span stuff with either being like, okay, I'm focused on visual art or I'm focused on that, but it's hard to balance it for me. So I don't know, but I really was encouraged to like try. Jordan literally one year was like, "Hey, it seems like you really like bass. Let's just buy one and you can get lessons." And I really clicked with my teacher, who I still do like virtual lessons with and like learn guitar from him too.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's just it took me a really long time to figure out something that I wasn't like super scared of.
Yeah.
I've always liked singing, but it's been a thing where like I think I was just really scared of putting myself out there even as a kid. Like I was always the person who was like, I want to be in a play or a musical, but I'll be in stage crew. It's close enough. I don't have to put myself out there, but I'm like
Yeah.
kind of in it. And then I was
Right.
like not really fulfilled by that. But it's like a thing where I think I was just very nervous about putting myself out there until I finally did it and was like, oh yeah, no one really is paying that much attention anyway. It's fine. You
Yeah,
know?
I get what you mean too. Like I had a couple things similar where you were talking about like you want to be perfect as soon as you start playing. I've had that with I will give up on songs so quick because it's just like if I don't get it like I don't my brain doesn't comprehend what practice is sometimes. Where I'm just like, oh, I can't do it once. I'm just giving up. And then the same thing where I think people need to do bass before guitar because I did guitar first. I sucked at it. I gave up on instruments because I always wanted to be in a band. I was like, I'll just do vocals. And then I was like, okay, let's give bass a try. And now, I'm now playing guitar, do a solo thing. I'm not great, but I'm better than I probably would have ever been if I didn't pick up bass.
The thing that I've learned is that like if you really want to do something, the only person you're really letting down is yourself by not trying it. And I feel like it's really never too late to learn anything in life. Like I know people in like their 80s that are learning piano right now for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend at a thrift store and he's great and he's like a grandpa and he's like, I'm learning piano. I'm like, that's great. Like it's never too late to do something you want to do. So I think kind of like curving like the expectation of I want to be at this level, but I'm not even going to let myself be bad first, like it's not realistic. Like,
Yeah.
but also too, the only pressure you should really put on yourself is like, what do I actually feel fulfilled by doing? Trying something is like, it's better to try and feel like you failed a few times and then gotten to where you want to be than to just not try at all and be like mad about it.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. At least that's what my kind of like path has felt like is like I'm never gonna be exactly where I want to be, but trying is like way better than like just sitting around being like, I wish I learned how to play something. Regret, like
But
anyway.
yeah. I'm gonna throw like two or three things at you because they all make sense as the same question in my mind, but they're probably all three different topics. You
Oh
mentioned
boy.
it briefly about Jordan kind of getting you into bass, everything. What I was gonna ask, and we didn't really mention you and Jordan are married as well. Um,
What?
and oh, you just found out. Sorry. But I want to know, and maybe Jordan, you can speak on this too. But I also want to talk about like the start of the Stink Guys was like So what was it like? Start learn bass. Was that the start of like, okay, you as a married couple, you get to play music together finally? Was Stink Eyes the first thing? Was that a goal with Stink Eyes started? Or was this years down the line? That, if you get what I mean, like the
I,
timeline of things of being able to
well,
be play like as a married couple playing together, and then now you're in the Stink Eyes, and where did the Stink Eyes start? Basically, whatever order you want to answer those questions.
you want me to kind of take the lead on that a bit?
Sure. Yeah.
So like I really wanted to be in like an all-girl band when I first started. And so I kind of like did start something like that, but it kind of very quickly fizzled out. We had like four members. I think one of them moved away or was going to move away, and it just was like I didn't know how to play my instrument yet. So it was just like I think honestly, Jor was like one of the best people to be able to learn alongside because I was really intimidated to play with him. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just like being so inexperienced with like bass and then having him like learn literally like so many instruments, I was like, oh my gosh. But that's the nice thing about having like your partner kind of be a supportive person is that I'm not like so scared to be bad first or whatever at like what I'm doing. He's very patient. So it was kind of a thing where Haley, our old drummer, was in that girl band with me,
Mm.
and we kind of were both like, hey, we still want to be playing something. Maybe we just get together and jam because we both started very like I think it was around the same year that we both started playing. And so when we kind of were just like, I still want to like work on the growth and like figuring out how to play this instrument. Both of us were kind of learning at the same time. We just started jamming together, and then George just kind of like started jamming with us, to be
Yeah, I would kind
honest.
of just be around the house when they were having their band practice with their initial kind of group.
Yeah.
And then I would always like try and like make lattes for everyone or whatever. And then like at some point, I think they were like just practicing together and like they were like, "Hey, do you want to like come down and step in on guitar or something?" I have like 100 instruments. I have a big problem with like it's not even like, people talk about guitar players having gear acquisition syndrome where it's like you just have to every like you need like five different Stratocasters or whatever because they have like minute differences in construction. For me, it's not even that. It's like weird instruments. Like
Yeah.
we have like a dulcimer in the basement. We have two mandolins, an acoustic and a
We have a
an
theremin.
electric. We have a theremin, like eight different synth keyboards. I love finding new stuff,
Yeah.
figuring it out, and then playing it. So anyway, one time I think Emily and Haley were like, "Hey, do you want to like step in and just add some flavor to what we're cooking down here?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what we can do." And we found that things just clicked really well. And it was like, honestly, one of the cool things about it was this was like right at the beginning of like the lockdown, the stay
Yeah.
at home COVID pandemic orders. So like we honestly just had a lot of time to like kind of forge this immunity community, build something that there wasn't any pressure to perform or release anything. It was just kind of like this like pressure cooker where we were just working on stuff and writing stuff and creating stuff. And then by the time stuff started to open up again, we had like an entire set. We had covers learned. We didn't even have a band name, I think, for the first like
Yeah, it was a long time.
three, 4 or 5 months of it really feeling connected and cohesive that way. And then, yeah, I think it was like 2021, I think we kind of announced, we're like, hey, the Stink Guys. And I think Emily came up with the band name. We were like driving in the car and
I was just like we had a whole list of
yeah,
ideas.
there was, and that's kind of like how everything is. Like our album
Yeah.
that we put out 2 years ago, the spreadsheet we
It
had
was
for like
bad. It was so
potential
crazy.
titles was like 600 on it.
Jeez.
With just every band practice or band meeting, we would just be like, "Hey, let's narrow this down by like let's trim off like 30 of them each time till we finally had what we ended up settling on with Out of Spite, Out of Mind." So, but yeah, we made
I
the and then started playing shows and kind of just kept doing that. So it was a
I
fun time.
keep docs of band names, of song titles, of album names, and it's
Yeah.
just pages
Had-
and pages. Anything I come up with. So I was gonna ask about coming up with Stink Guys, but so how quickly did the rest of the I guess character of the band come together? Because I mean, there's so many great things about the Stink Guys. You have Skunk Punk, you have Hell Bent on keeping their scent. Like there's so many like the band name itself is great, but then there's so many layers to it of outside of that. Like how did that all come together? How quickly did that, you know what I mean?
I mean, okay, we've got a dude over here that works in marketing and is very good at
Oh, is that what you
knowing,
do for
like,
work? Okay.
and also I love like wordplay, so a lot of
Yeah.
it was
And
like
honest,
goofing around.
sorry, not to interrupt.
No,
It's
no,
honestly
no.
just like a lot of our like weird interests too, like
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
the history and that have kind of woven in and out of the visual and sort of branding aesthetic around the Stink Eyes. Like we're not, there's never been a time where we're like, oh, should we have this or shouldn't we? Should we, market ourselves this way or put this out? I think everything has always just been like we all love goofy wordplay. We all love like old schlocky horror movies and kind of like straight to VHS, full
Yeah.
moon productions, kind of like weird horror and genre films. And Patrick, too, you're right there with that. So I think everything we've done has just kind of been like this weird mishmash of like obviously like our values are really central to the band. We're really big on making sure our shows are safe spaces and people know that we're not gonna tolerate any creepy behavior, anything that sort of promotes any kind of hierarchies or undermines any vulnerable groups or oppressed, people or anything like that. We're going to use our platform to speak out about those things. But at the same time, we really want to have fun and we really want to kind of use some of those kind of like just weird offbeat aesthetics and things we enjoy to kind of help make those points and to help sell those values and just to really just again I think it's just about having fun and mixing in kind of some of the weird stuff we're into at the same time.
I don't know how Patrick feels, but like
Yeah.
we are an ambitious band. I don't feel like we take ourselves too seriously.
Mhm.
Our practice is giggle. These are the giggle kings.
Yeah, we did a short run in April up to Eau Claire and then Minneapolis, and we had our friends Holly and the Nice Lions, who are amazing. Shout out them. And then they were joined by Crush Scene, who's this really good kind of alternative band out of the Twin Cities, and we played both shows with that lineup, which was really fun. It was kind of our first like actual tour, even though it was only like a little two-show Weekend Warrior thing. But we were having hotel breakfast, and Patrick and I were just like sleep deprived and laughing about something. And I think was it
It
Madeline?
was food bags.
Madeline from Crush Scene referred to us as the Giggle Kings, and that's kind of stuck. If we ever have to change band names for legal reasons, I think we'll probably just switch to Emily and the Giggle Kings from Brooklyn.
It's a pretty
Or
good band name.
Princess
I was
Emily
gonna
Kings.
I was gonna ask you, Patrick. I think Jordan and Emily have talked a little bit personally to me about it, but talk about coming into the band because it was a kind of a natural fit, right? Like you guys just were at a show, realized you all lived pretty close, and joined, and then like here you are. You know what I mean? Like, and it does
So
seem like such a great fit.
yeah, I mean, so my other band in Madison, Weird Place, funnily enough, our first show in that full band was actually playing with Stink Eyes for their album
Yep.
release. So we played at the Rigby, we played at the
Yep.
basement. Um, I'm
That
not
was that
good.
was the show I met Kaylin at. Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
really? Cool.
That was with Ask for Jane as well, right? They were on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Yeah,
bill. And was there a fourth band? Is that
Mhm.
was Say What You Mean?
cool.
yeah, cool. Yeah, with a
Cool,
K.
right.
Uh, So I'm not good at mingling after shows. I'm the wallflower in pretty much every possible scenario. And but also me understanding that part of being in a local band is kind of marketing yourself and getting to know everyone. I at the very least, make a conscious effort to try and just like go up to bands and just be like, "Hey, that was a cool set."
Right, right.
Uh, Luckily, Emily and Jordan are a lot more talkative than me. So they started asking questions and stuff like, asked if I'm from around Madison. I was
What's your
like,
social
no, I'm
security
actually,
number?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's tight.
And they
How
found
many
all of that.
toilets in your house?
They actually knew all that before you even mentioned it, which is weird.
Was reading the blueprint.
Yeah,
I think
but
Jordan has the coordinates to your house tattooed
I
on
think
him, and that was
so.
before you guys met.
I was kind of
I
afraid
was
to
like,
say
check this
anything.
out. He was like, what is that? are those numbers? I'm like, it's the coordinates of your house, your childhood home.
I'm actually very uncomfortable on this band.
They're like the shows are a safe space. It is not for me.
Yeah,
For
no,
me,
that's for
yeah.
everyone else.
They don't actually consider me a person, so I think
Yeah.
it doesn't mean me.
Yeah. We always say we want all people to feel good at our shows, and we really emphasize
all
that word so Patrick knows we're not talking
that's
about
it.
him.
All people know Patrick's.
Yeah, very small print under it. Yeah,
When people ask, what kind of band we are, we say we're a 2.5 piece.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
get what I
Sorry,
was just saying, I
Pat.
get what you mean. Where I discovered the Stink Guys through Mike, Tim T's guitarist, because he went to college with Haley, and I at the top of my head, I don't remember the first time I saw you guys. I know I have it written down, but he was like, "Yeah, I really, we'll come meet Haley and Haley's band." And I think I talked to Jordan and Emily more than Haley probably that night. The intent was to meet Haley, but yeah, I mean, I get
Is
that.
that our Halloween
Like,
show? Or we were dressed
huh?
as snacks?
No, I
I
had
think it
seen
might.
you all.
Yeah, I thought
I
I
think that was our.
Madison.
I saw you. You talking about Reptile? I'll pull it up here. It was
Yeah,
before
that was our time.
Reptile because I was supposed to see you
Okay.
guys with Male Manipulators and Elmer Blueskin, and I couldn't make that show.
But yeah, we
Um,
did that show. Yeah, that was
so
Rigby.
that was the first time I would have seen you, and then I couldn't make that. And let me see what year. I saw you the first. I have every show list. You guys can talk while I
It was
find this. This is
20.
probably boring content, but I have every show I've seen written down. So I just got to find your name first.
Let Patrick finish.
Oh no,
What you were saying, and I'm sorry.
oh no, it's
I
okay.
interrupted you.
I saw you at Boob's
No,
house.
that's
The Boobs House show was
Don't tell
James and
Patrick.
Disperser. Sorry.
It's like I wasn't either.
I would what the hell? You guys went to Boob's house without me? So yeah, no,
Yeah.
basically, yeah, I found that we all lived together in the same area. So it ended up being like it was a little bit after that. We played with them in Madison again, also at Black Saddle Bike Shop.
All
But
right.
then
Yep.
going into the next year, I kind of rang in the new year with them. First time like actually hanging out, going to see a show at Reptile Palace. And then I think it was just like a couple months or so later, we just kind of started jamming, and then it kind of stuck together pretty nice, and it just kind of flowed.
Yeah.
Just felt good.
Yeah, it was great. It was, I mean, that was like a definitely Stink Guys was kind of on ice at the time. We weren't really sure if we were going to start a new project or whatever. And then we kind of just invited Patrick over to hang out, more to like watch movies, scary movies, and
scary movies.
hang out and stuff, and found out, wow, his drumming fits really well with the kind of stuff we're trying to make. And we have this back catalog that you were really really liked and really wanted to play along with. And we, yeah, just kind of decided to restart the band then. So.
Nice.
But yeah,
We got
it was a very serendipitous moment because it's so many people from the Fox cities who are like, in Madison, especially at a show, you're like kind of just expecting everyone to be like local and live down there and stuff, and actually meet somebody who lived like 10, 15 minutes away from us, and they're super cool and a really good drummer was like felt like a moment of like the universe kind of smiling on us a bit.
right. We got about 5.5 minutes left, so I'm gonna spitfire all my rapid fire stuff at you real quick here. I like to usually start. I have every guest ask a question for the next week's guest. So it's been 2 weeks now because I've been busy. But
Yeah.
Kelvin from Mum Bumper, also Tim T's drummer, he wants to know, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Patrick, this is your
Listen,
wheelhouse,
you're
my
the
friend.
first one.
I think I'm gonna try not to like think too much about this. I know it's supposed to be a rapid fire, but I could probably talk about this longer than most people.
I'm gonna have you on. I'm gonna have you on next week just to talk about this.
Yeah, yeah. A whole podcast about hot dogs. I'd be able to. I'd say so. I'd go either way. If someone didn't consider it a sandwich, I'd respect that decision. I consider it a sandwich. It's got the fillings in there, especially if you're thinking like a corn dog or like a chili cheese dog or
Plus the
something.
Yeah.
back of that bun that's open all the time.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You load that monster up. You got the relish, you got the sometimes the chili, you got the obviously in my case it'd be a carrot dog, but all that stuff, that back only has so much bread before it splits open. And at that point, what are we doing here? It's a
That's
sandwich.
gonna make your backbone split open too
That's
after you
true.
just
Yeah.
give it a couple hours.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Do either of you have a question for next week's guest?
Oh, Jory, you should ask the one about teeth for
Oh
hair.
yeah. Okay. Would you rather have this is a would you rather? Would you rather have hair for
Okay.
teeth or for hair?
Okay. I don't know who next week's guest is, but I'll ask them. Can
Yeah.
you guys roll me off your top three favorite bands?
Oh God. I feel like for me it changes a lot. Currently,
Yeah.
I would say Skeletal Family, um, uh, Panic Shack, who I just saw at Summerfest, and um, Tiger Trap for now.
Um, I think Turnstile has been a pretty big one for the past like 10 years, has been a consistent one for me. The Strokes is, in my opinion, one of the greatest bands of all time. Kind of more lesser known, but I feel like more people should know about it, is Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos. They're kind of like a indie folk, indie rock type of thing, but their music clicked with me in a pretty meaningful way, pretty much instantly. So that's my three.
Funny full circle story. That was actually their song "Broad Ripple is Burning" is a song Emily's girl band was
That was
like
one of the first
learning.
songs I
No,
liked.
really?
That's fun. Wow, didn't even realize that. No, you were telling me how much you love the band The Lost Prophets before we started this. Is that still in your
Ooh.
top three there, Patrick?
Yeah, it's probably like Lost Prophets and then maybe like Brand New and then I'm thinking
Like Chris Brown,
yeah,
those are the top
Chris
three.
Brown is my number one for
You like
sure.
escape the fate quite a bit, don't you too?
Ronnie Radke's up there. All of his stuff he does.
I used to love Escape the Fate. It was I liked when like kind of like between like after the Ronnie left, like the album with Craig, the first album was kind of the one of my favorites. That might be a hot take amongst Escape the Fate fans, but I can't really justify either of them as like decent people, I'd say.
Yeah,
So
I'll say really quickly, just because you mentioned brand new. I was at a Taking Back Sunday show last weekend, and I just started talking to this guy like in his 40s. He's talking about and then elder emo, talking about all those bands. I went, so what's your favorite? He went, oh, I love brand new, and I went, whoa. I was like,
that's
one, you can't say that here. Two, you can't say that in general. He's like, I forgive him. I went, you can know. I was like, we're done. I was
that's
like,
crazy at a Taking Back
Yeah.
Sunday
I
show because
know, and yeah,
Sunday and Brand New had beef.
I know.
Lex,
There's people in brand new shirts. I'm like, what are people doing here?
it's
Yeah.
just
Jordan,
a
three bands, top three.
Two bands. Number one, Comadre. This absolutely forgotten Bay Area hardcore scrams band. Their discography is deep and insane. They're the coolest band ever to do it. Number two, Camp Cope. One of my favorite short-lived bands. So lucky to have seen them, and I love that they were so big on making sure their shows were an opportunity to say the important things to people. And number three, it's got to be the boss. It's got to be Springsteen, especially these hot summer days. Windows open. You got the Born to Run album playing,
It's
Darkness on the Other Side of Town.
to have runs, Jordan.
It is. That's true. That's the hot dog
Yeah.
thing that
We
back.
have
So
we have we have less than a minute. Hopefully this doesn't just cut us off. Can one of you name this episode?
Oh, of the podcast?
yeah,
Yeah.
hot dog buns,
Split Buns.
split buns,
Hot split
All
bun?
right.
hot split buns.
Text me that so I don't forget it. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been great.
Hi,
Everyone listen to the
Lex.
Stink
Awesome.
guys. They're one of the best. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.